Hi, everyone. It is Tia,
I am Kim.
and we're here for our next episode of Masks Off. And we're continuing based on what we talked about with manifestation last few episodes, just because we feel it's really important and it's fun as long as we can step into some discomfort. And so today's quote around manifestation is by Rhonda Byrne. And it is every single second is an opportunity to change your life because in any moment you can change the way you feel. And the reason we picked that quote is because of those last few words, the way you feel. Because feelings really can get in the way of manifestation.
And it's also a liberating quote as well, because
Exactly.
it's, knowing that you can change how you feel in a moment, you can change the outcome potentially.
Everything. Yeah. I mean, it's just that every single second is an opportunity to change your life. And it's true because we can be going down and starting and noticing a thought coming up and be like, you know what? That's not true. I'm choosing a different path. Oh, I'm feeling this way. You know what? I don't like how this is feeling. I'm going to let that move through. And now I'm going to feel a different way versus staying stuck in that cycle of that negative feeling, that negative choices that we're making in our life. Because when we're manifesting, if we're not in alignment on the inside with the outside thoughts and beliefs that we want, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I know. In fact, without, going into great detail, the last few days I have been going through some stuff, and I know that probably today is a Wednesday. So maybe for the last 4 or 5 days, I have noticed that, the urge to overeat or just to like shove food in my mouth to just push down the feelings. And sometimes this just happens so quickly and automatically. I'm not even aware, and I'm a pretty self-aware person. So, but then finally, I noticed because it gradually is increasing. I'm like, geez, I'm really grabbing for a lot of extras here today, where I feel like my pants are a little bit tighter. But then I was able to really in the last day or two say, okay, something is at play. There's a lot of feelings going on inside me. And I just really took almost the entire day yesterday to just be in those feelings. And it was not pleasant. It was not fun. So when
it's hard.
You're trying to manifest, it's not easy breezy. Oh, like The Secret says, let me just visualize it. Let me put it on. I mean, we said this in the last episode. Let me just put it on my vision board and I'm going to get everything I want. There's a lot of clearing that has to take place.
Right.
And we talked in the last episode about Ho'oponopono. I've been practicing how to say it. So excited. Dr. Len would be happy that I've learned how to say Ho'oponopono. So, I'm practicing it. I'm just all day long saying, for those who are unaware of what that is, there's just a few phrases and I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. And I just kept repeating these 4 phrases over and over the entire day.
Wow.
To just clear, because I knew and it was, oh my God, the energy, I could just feel it in my stomach and my
I was just going to ask, where were you feeling it? Because that's important for people to do too.
Yeah, it was in my stomach. It was in my heart area. It was in my throat. It was just so much. And then I just felt like I was going to be swallowed up by these feelings and this pain. Like it was going to be this big black hole that I was being sucked into. And I remember having that feeling when I was a kid. And that's why I would quickly learn to push away the pain with the food, right? The food would distract me or
shove those feelings down.
Shove the feelings down. And for a lot of people, it could be different. It could be food. It could be alcohol. It could be drugs. It could be Netflix. It could be surfing Facebook. It could be shopping, whatever, just to not deal with those feelings.
Right.
And the other thing that
but they don't go away.
They don't go away. That's it. You just do more numbing because it doesn't go away.
Right.
So then the other step was that I wanted to be mindful of, is this coming from thoughts? Because
Mm,
sometimes we can create it with our thoughts if we get in a looping pattern.
definitely.
Or is this really coming from within my body and coming from within and needs to come up and be healed? And I knew that this was the kind of thing that was inside me that had to come up and be healed.
Mm,
I was not creating the thoughts.
yeah. Well, it was in I mean, look at all those chakras it was stuck in.
Oh my God, they were all there. It was, I needed to clean and cleanse and clear. And then that's one of the steps of the process. Cause then as I clear and clean all that, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm allowing for more space,
And
right?
movement, right?
And
So
movement,
you
the
now have the
flow.
energy movement is happening in your body
Yes.
again versus
Yes.
all that stuck heavy yuck.
And I share all this with everyone just to share that there is a process when you want to have different in your life. So going back
Yep.
to the quote, every single second is an opportunity to change your life, because in any moment you can change the way you feel.
Yep.
So I knew that I had to stay with that yesterday. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the whole day I felt crappy, so crappy. But had I not taken the time to do that, I would continue to feel the same way today. And today I feel clearer, cleaner, and more in flow. I've moved that energy through.
And I think what you said is super important too, because that quote, if someone didn't have a deeper understanding of what it means, could be like you change your feelings, which could be interpreted as, oh, I'm just not going to feel sad now.
Yeah, that's not it.
No, that's not it. It's not, you're just completely doing a 180 and ignoring that ickiness, that stuckness,
Yes.
that yuckiness that you were wanting to shove away. It
Yes.
means sitting with it, feeling it. You have the choice to shift it by feeling and
Yeah.
allowing it to move through you. So let's be really clear here. It's not this
Yeah.
black and white, oh, I don't want to feel angry or sad or whatever feeling you're feeling in the moment that's quote negative, because they're not negative, they're just feelings. And it's not just going from one to the other and ignoring. No, it's integrating
100%.
and feeling and going into that yuckiness. I mean, it took you a whole day.
A whole day. And
Yeah.
I will say I did a lot of like crying and,
Mm-hmm.
and there was some eating and then there was some more clearing and then
Yeah.
there's some crying and then there was just sitting. But like I
Mm-hmm.
literally allowed myself to just feel it. And sometimes I didn't know
That's
what
awesome.
it was, but I said, it's okay. I don't need to know
Yeah.
what the feeling is. I just need to feel it. And
Mm-hmm.
I just need to be with it. Right. Because
Right.
Dr. Shafali says all the time, pain is the portal, or
Right.
other teachers will say you have to go through the pain to get
Yep.
to the other side. Can't
Yep.
go around it. You
Nope.
cannot, if you try to go around the hole, you're just
It's
going
still there.
to, it's still there. Hello, I'm still inside you.
Exactly. And I think,
Yeah.
bringing it back to that manifestation piece, if you hadn't have sat with that, or anyone who's feeling out of alignment, like you have that vision of what you want, your purpose, something as simple as, you want this car, or whatever it is, doesn't matter. But if you internally have all that stuckness, you can't manifest, because you're just
Yeah.
going to stay stuck in that same cycle and pattern. I mean, you brought up the eating. That's your pattern you've had for so
Yes.
long, and it's sneaky.
Very
Even though you've
sneaky.
healed so much around that,
Yeah.
it still never 100% goes away. It's just our
Yeah.
awareness of it and our ability to make that choice and shift, which is what you did, because you knew
Yeah.
you had to move in to that discomfort.
It's like a little warning, like a siren going off, but I didn't
Yes.
quite hear it. The first,
Yep.
like I said, it was about 4 or 5 days worth, and I was
Mhm.
like, it started a little, I didn't really hear it, or I heard it,
Okay.
but I ignored the siren, and it's like the alarm is going off, like, pay attention,
Mm-hmm.
until finally it just like caught up with me yesterday. I was like, okay, now I need to stop and I need to pay attention to what's going on, because
Yeah.
my eating is getting out of control. And like, so
Mhm.
then I know it's not about food, it's about what's underneath and what
Right.
am I feeling.
Right. And there it is, in that single moment, you have a choice.
I had a choice. Yeah.
And once we see it, you can't unsee it. I mean, And there's
Yeah.
times, I don't know about you, but there's been times I've had that choice and I'm like, I don't have the energy to go in right now. I
Absolutely.
just
That happens
don't
too.
have the energy to sit with this ickiness. I am just gonna binge on a Netflix show or whatever it is
Yep.
in the moment that is the distraction for me in that moment. And just be
Yes.
like, I'll read, I'm going to read, but I make the conscious choice to be unconscious,
Yes.
knowing I'm going to circle back
And
around
come
when I
revisit.
have more energy and strength, because it does take a lot of strength to do what you did yesterday.
Oh my gosh, I was exhausted by the end of the night. I just wanted to go to bed and just, I went through a lot. But let me ask you a question. When you make that unconscious choice or that conscious choice to be unconscious,
Yep.
are you then able to be gentle with yourself, or do you then go into a shame loop of, oh, now I'm binging. I shouldn't be binging on Netflix. I shouldn't be
Or
doing
whatever
this.
it is. Yeah.
Or are you kind to yourself?
I would say more often than not, now I have grace for myself.
Mm,
Where in the
yeah.
past, when it's not a conscious choice to be unconscious, you can't have grace with yourself. It's
I
such a
know.
shaming thing. Now, having said that, there are times where I'm like, okay, you need to stop.
Yeah.
It's time. You need to really take care of yourself, because if you keep choosing the unconscious choice for another couple hours or
Yeah.
a day or whatever it is, I'm just grabbing random time frames because
Yeah.
it depends on the situation. I can see, I'm like, that's a rabbit hole I'm not willing to go down. And
Yep.
then I'm going to go into the shame cycle
Yeah.
versus, okay, this is how much my whole body, mind, and spirit can handle of unconsciousness.
Yes. Yes.
And at this time, I need to be done. And sometimes I will actually say that. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to give myself till 8 o'clock at night. And then
Mm.
I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to meditate, or I'm going to do something to start to peel back that layer of whatever I'm trying to avoid in that moment.
Yeah, that's great. I do the same. I think like maybe I love using analogies. And if we use the swimming analogy,
Your
right,
favorite.
my favorite, I've got the swimming and I've got the mountain one. We'll
Yep,
use swimming
exactly.
today. I'm in the mood for water today. Swimming.
Flow. You need a
Flow,
little
because we're talking
flow.
about flow. We're talking
Yep.
about flow and alignment. So if we're talking about swimming and you're swimming and you're swimming and you're swimming along, and
Mm-hmm.
this is the path of life. Okay.
Yep.
Then sometimes, you get to the point where, okay, you're really tired. You've been doing the breaststroke. You've been doing the butterfly. You're swimming really well. You're doing great, but now you're starting to get tired. So you can stop. You can start to maybe tread water a little bit. But those times where you start to, maybe that's when you're saying, okay, I'm going to binge on Netflix, or I'm going to have the food, and you start treading. And then that's where you have to be careful, because if you do too much of it, you might start to
Mm-hmm.
go underwater a little bit. You might start
Yes.
sinking, and you don't want to sink too far.
Mm-mm.
So, it's like, okay, if you want to just float on your back to just take a rest,
Yeah.
floating, not swimming, just chill, all right. So you're watching some Netflix, you're overeating a little bit, you're just taking a break, but you don't want to go for too long, because then
Right.
you'll just start to sink and you'll start to
Yep.
drown.
Yes.
So you
Yep.
have to be able to rest and float so you can keep swimming
Mm-hmm.
again, but being mindful of how much, because all of those patterns that we are talking about will pull you down
Yep. And they can,
underwater.
yeah, and they can take over. And then it's
You're
really hard to
drowning.
get out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
Because they're
can't swim
strong.
anymore. They're
Yeah.
very strong. They're very, very strong.
There's a reason why it's engraved in our brain, right?
Yes. And that was the other thing that I want to point out is because of this Ho'oponopono that I've been
Mm-hmm.
doing, I was very, very aware yesterday when I was feeling all of that energy, that
Mm.
a lot of that was generational. Like it was generational. Like I could not pinpoint it to any one thing. I just knew
Wow.
whatever it was, it had to clear through me.
Wow.
And it was just like generations of just stuck stuff. And even
Wow.
probably patterns, of my lifelong of,
Mm-hmm.
negative or unhealthy patterns and beliefs,
Yeah.
just clearing through my body. So then let's talk more about the clearing, because
Yeah.
how the clearing helps with manifesting
Yeah.
and
So,
alignment.
I mean, if we're not clearing and getting that unstuck energy, those thoughts of negativity, of I'm not worthy, or even just something as simple of, I mean, let's do a secret thing, right? Because the secret always talks about the car or the bike. Isn't there a bike in there or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's
but
been a long time. But
let's just say a car.
Car is a big one.
Okay. So, hey, I really want this car. It doesn't have to be an expensive car. You just want a new car, right? But you may have this internal stuckness of, I can't afford it. Oh, I don't deserve that. This car can still keep going and going. So it's whatever in us, I'm not deserving of it. I can't afford it. So some of it is, all of those thoughts that we're having, all those excuses, all those limiting beliefs are connected to a feeling. And that's why, like, we chose that quote as the feeling, because if our feeling is not in alignment with our thought and not in alignment with what we're want our purpose, or just that tangible form-based car or whatever it is, if they're not in a line, it's not going to stack up for you. So when we were talking about manifesting, either the last episode or the one before that, and it's, you have it and then you release it, the non-attachment piece. You have to be in alignment with that non-attachment. Because if you're still have some feeling of not being worthy, some feeling of not good enough, some that's stuck, like you were saying, even just those stuck generational patterns, that energy, those little blocks are not going to align, and the universe is not going to open that door for you. And
the universe is going to feel, oh, there's some unworthiness there. This person doesn't feel deserving. So no car, no house, no.
Right.
Because the person isn't feeling open and worthy to receive it.
Right. Right. And I think too, I just lost my train of thought. The door, the universe, knowing that it's out there and trusting. That's that whole non-attachment thing. Because the timing may not be right, but if we're still stuck, that little stuckness, that's what I was going to go with. It's that pattern. So then we can continue that pattern of, this always happens to me. I never get what I want. So then we're just grinding that negative belief, that negative thought, that negative feeling into our internal, all those chakras you were talking about, right? So it's like, oh, it didn't happen. Just because it didn't happen on your timeline in your way doesn't mean it may not happen in the future. I mean, there's things that we want to manifest that aren't really good for us, and that's okay too. Because we think they are what we want, but they really aren't what's best for us. But when it doesn't happen, I mean, how many times do you hear people say, oh, I'm always so unlucky. Oh, this always happens to me. Oh, I never get what I want. I just want to be loved, right? All those things. It's like you're just continuing that pattern, like your pattern of eating when you don't want to feel. And so that's going to block manifestation and forward movement.
It is. Yeah. And I'm thinking a couple things. I'm thinking lack. So that what you're talking about is coming from a place of lack, right? Of, and first of all, we have to be aware that we're in that space. Because if you're not even aware that your thought patterns are limited, coming from lack, you're not going to be able to change. Never enough. So it's first about, we always talk about this all the time. The first step is becoming aware. If you even are in that space, right? So now so you're in lack, and then it's like, okay, how do I move from lack to abundance? You have to do the work. And we're going to talk about very soon the inner child work, because that is where a lot of these limiting beliefs have been created.
Right.
And that's where they're stuck in the subconscious mind.
Exactly. And that's where those patterns arise.
And that's where the patterns come from.
And the beliefs, those thoughts that we tell ourselves that we're not worthy. We may not say it that way, but we say it in a different way. I'm just not lucky.
Exactly. So when we are not in a place of lack and we're in a place of abundance, and we go into non-attachment and we let go, like literally it's like, if whatever it is that I want and desire comes in my life or doesn't come in my life, I'm good.
Right.
I'm so good because life is good. The fact that I'm breathing is good. The fact that I can see the trees outside. It's like just trying to fill your life and your feelings of feeling abundant. Then that's when things just effortlessly come into your world.
Right.
Would you agree?
Totally. And I think that's a really good point too. It's like, you're not looking to the outside
No.
to fulfill what's on the inside. I mean, we need the stuff on the outside, right? We live in a world of form. We have to go get groceries at the grocery store, you know, so we need the car to get us to certain places. You know, we need the stuff on the outside, but the outside stuff isn't really truly what fills us up on the inside. So when we're manifesting and we're manifesting something on the outside, we know we're going to be okay if we don't get it. Because inside we're meeting our own needs, we're taking care of ourselves, we're feeling our feelings, good, bad, or indifferent, because they just are. They're not, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation, the duality, non-duality, good, bad.
I know.
I mean, that's a really important piece too, because when you're not attached to this is good or this is bad, it just is.
Yep.
It's just raining. It's a storm. It's not bad. Like if you'd attach to yesterday, if you'd attach to yesterday as like, oh my gosh, this sucks. My life is horrible. These feelings are awful. You couldn't have come out of it.
Exactly. I started to. So I'm going to piggyback on that if that's okay. So there were moments where I was getting swallowed up by that pain. And that's why I was talking earlier about the black hole, like feeling like I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. Like it just felt so overwhelming. But then I had the awareness. And again, this is, you know, another tool or skill because I've meditated for so long that I was able to say, okay, this is just energy.
Right.
I was able to step back and watch it and just say, this is just energy moving through me. Exactly. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. It's energy. It's moving through. I'm okay. It will be okay. Just be with it.
And it's not you.
It wasn't me. It was just energy.
You are not that person. You're not your feelings.
I'm not my feelings. Yeah. I was not all the time. It was a back and forth,
of course.
Right? But when I was able to, it was a process when I was able to step back and realize that I was not my feelings. It was easier for me to let them flow through me and move through me.
Because you didn't have the resistance.
I didn't have the resistance. I just allowed.
Yeah. When you have that resistance, it can't flow, right?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It all comes together full circle. It's all coming together. So so this has been just such an amazing episode. I love how we're really flowing with all the episodes because we just check in before we get on. We're like, okay, this is where we're going. Yeah. I don't remember the last time, except for maybe the first few episodes that we actually stuck with what we thought we were going to do.
We're going to talk about this mass today and that, no, I don't know. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. We had good intentions of having an outline, but what I think is so beautiful about what we're doing is that we are staying in the moment and we're flowing with what is coming up for us.
Exactly. And not resisting when we have an idea.
Yeah.
Of like, you know what, this is showing up for me today. Can we talk about it? No, we have to stay on plan, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Then we're in resistance and
then it's not authentic. No. Yeah.
And our desire and intention is to show up authentic for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
And each other and ourselves.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I know I've grown so much through this. So
it's awesome.
Awesome episode today. So thank you, all the listeners and viewers, those of you who are watching us on YouTube. It's so exciting to see people viewing us. And as always, we would appreciate if you would subscribe, if you would, what do they do on podcasts?
Subscribe
as well.
Give a review. We appreciate. We've had a few more reviews come in. We really appreciate
we're so excited, so grateful for that, and we just really, you know what, we have to put ourselves out there and ask our viewers and show our worthiness and say we would really love and appreciate your support in any way possible.
Exactly. So share with your friends too.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Right. Bye.